Hi guys, welcome back to The Makeup Hunter. I'm Laura. In today's video I am going to be starting off a little bit of a new project that I have set for myself. Today's going to be a get ready with me, hence the bare face and scraped up hair. And I was hoping to do a week of get ready with me's, so sort of every single day of the week do a get ready with me that has sort of like a different central theme. So for today I'm going to be doing putting my makeup on, showing you a couple of new bits and pieces I've had, and also sort of having a chat and a catch up, tell you about my holiday, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to do one where I answer some questions that I got on Instagram. You know, just have a different theme for each day's get ready with me. I want to do one where I perhaps don't do any talking, just have it nice and calm and silent with some music playing, you know, that sort of thing. So if that sounds like something you're going to be interested in, then please do keep watching. Give me a like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be reminded of when I upload a video. I'm now back from holiday, so hopefully we'll be, you know, my little break is over. I'm going to be posting on a more regular basis. And yeah, let's get started, let's get into the video. The last video that I posted was my Shop My Stash, which I did with this sort of like week of get ready with me's in mind. So I'm going to be using the items that I selected from my Shop My Stash, and I've also had, I mentioned in that video that I had 4 more items that I was waiting to arrive. I didn't think they would be here yet, but they actually arrived yesterday. So I finally decided to pick up the McGrath Christmas palette. So this is the Celestial Odyssey palette. I can't quite bring myself to buy any of her like her mothership palettes that have the like special shades in them, just because of the price of them for how many shades you actually get. But I thought this one was a really good deal. So this is her, as I say, this is her Christmas release. It doesn't have any of her special shades in it, but I just love the colour selection that are in here. There is only 4 mattes, the rest are shimmers, but I quite like that. You know, I often mix my palettes together rather than just use one. I'll dip into a couple. So really excited about that. The packaging is lovely, and I love the fact that you've got a good quality big mirror here. I've still got the protective sticker on it. Not sure how I feel about these like stringy bits, but it does keep it sort of like standing up. So yeah, really excited about that. And then from the Christmas release I also got, she does quite a few bundles where you can save a little bit of money, and I had been wanting to try her blushes for a long time, so I got a bundle of her 2 blush and highlight palettes that she released for Christmas. So this is one of them. This is the what's this one called, Galactic Sun. So this is the lighter of the 2 palettes, and all of the products that are in here are existing in her line. So there's Divine Rose, Desert Orchid and Golden Nectar, the highlight. So that is like the lighter skin friendly one, but I quite like punchier blushes, sort of darker blushes. So I did actually pick up the darker palette. If I can get it out, I did pick up the darker version as well in this bundle. So this is the deeper one, and this blusher just is so gorgeous. Now I'm sure that one of the blushes and the highlight in this palette are not existing. They are like brand new shades. So you've got Love Struck, Paradise Venus, and Venus Nectar is the highlighter. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And I had heard an awful lot about her lip gloss formula. I didn't really fancy any of her lipsticks, simply for the fact that I'm so enamoured with my Natasha Denona lipsticks. So I didn't really want to pick up and get addicted to another luxury brand's lipsticks. So I just picked up one of the glosses. So again, the packaging for this is stunning. I mean, her packaging across the board is absolutely gorgeous. And this is one of her Lush glosses in the shade Belladonna. It's just a beautiful pale peachy pink with sort of like a golden reflect to it. It looks pretty much like clear when it's on the lips. I did try it on when it arrived yesterday. Got no makeup on, I just put a little bit on my lips, and super comfortable. It is more of a sticky gloss, but I don't mind that. So yeah, I am really excited to try those. And I think I'm probably going to, I haven't used any of the makeup from my Shop My Stash yesterday yet, and I've obviously got my new Huda palettes that I showed in that video, and I've not used any of these yet. So I think I am probably going to use one of the Huda palettes today, but I am going to use one of the new blush trios and highlighters. So we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so let's get this makeup on, and for my primer today I'm going to go in with my Illamasqua Hydra Veil. I'm going to write on the screen what I'm going to be using, because this is sort of like a more chatty video, and if I talk about the products every time I won't get a chance to talk about what I wanted to talk about. I'm trying a brand new foundation, one that I've had in my collection for a long time but I've never used. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation. I have mixed a little bit of my Huda Beauty Glowish with it because it's a little bit on the pale side, so it is super glowy. I think it's a glowy foundation anyway, and then adding the Glowish to it has just made it even more so. So that's the foundation blended in. So glowy and juicy. I absolutely love it. I think it will probably set down a little bit as it sort of dries. It's still kind of wet at the moment, but absolutely loving that so far. I thought I would just tell you a little bit about my holiday and what we got up to, and show you a couple of bits that I purchased while I was there. I haven't got everything that I purchased while I was away, but all that's missing is well, there's quite a bit missing actually. I didn't buy a lot while I was away. We weren't staying in places where there was the option to buy a lot of things. We went to, so I'm sort of digressing here, but let's get back on track. So we went to Yorkshire for 2 weeks, and we stayed 1 week in the North Yorkshire moors in a little village literally in the middle of the moors, where there was just a pub that wasn't even open. It was closed for refurbishment. There was no shops or anything there, but it was we stayed in an old schoolhouse next to an old school from the 1800s. It was beautiful. It was so picturesque. There was chickens and sheeps wandering around free outside. There was a little tiny church that I could see across the road from my bedroom, and a cemetery, a really old cemetery. It was like something out of a film, like an old film, but it was beautiful. The schoolhouse had been converted into 4 holiday apartments, and there was only us and another couple in another apartment, so it was really quiet. You could hear nothing at night. It was like completely silent. And then on the second week we came a little bit further inland, because we were really close to the coast the first week. We came a bit further inland and stayed in the Yorkshire Dales the second week at a caravan park next to a castle. So it shared the grounds of a castle basically, and the castle was closed for the winter, but they had like a park and that you could walk the dogs in, like fields and grounds and stuff that you could walk the dog in, and it was really, really beautiful. 2 very different locations. Like the first week the location was like very barren, very rugged, what you see on like Wuthering Heights type of location. And then the second week it was more affluent little villages, with you know, market day on in the town and, you know, that sort of thing. And that's where I got most of the things that I purchased from markets. They had like a weekly market that we went to, and we bought a lot of fresh produce for our meals, like local cheeses and jams. We went to a farm and bought all of our fruit and vegetables, and then they had an artisan market where they had like local crafters who sold their wares at the market, and I bought a few bits and pieces from both the regular market and the artisan market. And the things that I've got to show you today are from the artisan market. So I went to a farm shop that we hadn't realised was holding an artisan market, and we bought like jams, chutneys, some pickled onions, all from a local farm. And then there was also a lady there selling hairbands, and I am a big fan of hairbands, so I bought 2 of her hairbands. These are Liberty of London fabric, and this is the one that I wore the most. And then I also got this one, and honestly these are the most comfortable headbands I've ever worn in my life. They've got a wire, really high quality wire band, and then they're backed in denim, which adds like the protection and the comfort, and I could wear these all day long without getting a headache or any discomfort. And the lady that I got them off is called May's Handmade, and she does have a website, and I was gonna order some more, but on the last day that we were there, the last full day that we were there, I followed her on Instagram and saw that she was in the town that we were staying in at another artisan market. So on the morning that we were coming home, we stopped in and popped to the artisan market and had breakfast, ready for like the long drive home. And I picked up some more headbands. So I got this green velvet one, which is one of her new winter ones, and then my mum wanted me to have this one as well, which is like really Halloweeny colours, like purple, green and orange. so I love that. And then she also does these slightly more special ones, which were a little bit more expensive, but I just knew that I wanted to pick one up. And it's a vintage headscarf made into a headband. So this is what that one looks like. And I absolutely adore these. They're so gorgeous. And I also picked up this knotted one as well. They're just the most comfortable. I mean, this one that I've got on is from Primark, which is where I get most of my headbands from usually, but after I've had them on for about an hour, it does start to hurt, and it also pushes my ears forward, whereas they don't do that. So I'm like super happy with those. The only other things that I purchased were I bought some books. I've been absolutely going through books like I don't know what. I've read like 3 books while we were away. So I bought some books from a little independent bookstore, and I bought 2 handbags, a scarf and a purse, which are still in my case. All that's still packed. I haven't unpacked yet, so that's why I haven't got them here to show you now. Okay, so that is everything that I wanted to sort of show you in this video. Let's do some bronzer. So I've got my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood bronze, Filmstar Bronze and Glow. I always get those mixed up. And I'll just put a bit of this on. So as far as the holiday is concerned, I had the absolute best time, and I have definitely got a little bit of a case of the post-holiday blues. It was so relaxing there. It didn't start quite as we had planned. So the night before we were due to go away, we were going on the Saturday morning. We planned to leave fairly early and have a couple of stops. Me and my mum usually share the driving. She'll do like the last leg and I'll do the first leg like from home. But as we were getting a few last little bits and pieces on the Friday evening, I needed to get, like, for instance, I needed to get Ray some treats. I wanted to get him a toy. And I wanted to get him a coat as well because of obviously being cold, wet. I wanted to get him a coat because he'd grown out of his old one. So we went to a local retail park. My mum wasn't feeling 100%. And she'd said that she was, instead of what we'd originally planned, which was as soon as we got back from the retail park, we would, I'd already done my packing, but she was going to do her packing. And she said to me, I've gone ever so tired, I'm going to have to have a bit of a sit down for a bit when I get back. And I was like, you know, cool, that's absolutely fine, you know, I'll help you when you're ready to start. Anyway, she parked the car, went to take something back to Next, went into Boots, came back to the car, lifted her leg to step into the car. She was there 1 minute and then gone the next. And we don't know how it happened, but she basically stumbled, rotated, hit the side of the car, and the force of her hitting the car threw her forward, and she landed flat on her face on the concrete with her hands like this. So nobody came to help to begin with. She was completely startled. I'd got Ray in the car, so I ran out of the car. Ray, bless him, was trying to get out the car as well and got himself wedged stuck in between the two front seats and couldn't get out. I ran round to Mum and tried to sort of get her to get up, and she was like, leave me, I can't move yet, I need a minute. And it had obviously knocked the wind out of her. And then all of a sudden 2 young girls came from out of nowhere and said, oh my god, are you okay, do you need any help? And Mum was really like self-conscious and was like, no, and I said, no, it's okay, I should be able to get her up. And I did manage to eventually get her up, and she was in such a state. We didn't realise how things were bad, obviously, how bad things were to begin with. She just seemed to be in shock, so I got her in the car and I was like, I'll drive, let's just get you home, do you need me to take you? We were literally across the road from Casualty in Wolverhampton. I was like, let me take you to the hospital now, straight away. No, I'll be absolutely fine, I just need to get home and I need to have some painkillers and have a little bit of a lie down. Stubborn as always. Anyway, gets her home, and then as the evening is wearing on, her face was coming up out here. Her hand completely swelled up, and I was like, Mum, you need to go to hospital, let's forget the holiday, I'll cancel the holiday and let's get you to hospital. She was like, no, I'll be absolutely fine, I just need a bit of a lie down. So she went to bed for a bit, and then after a couple of hours I went up, and she looked terrible, but she said she felt better. And she says, don't you dare cancel it. And she made my dad promise that he wouldn't cancel the holiday. And I started packing for her. I literally packed all of my mum and dad's stuff for them. I sort of said to them, if you don't, I hope that I pack you the right things and that there's nothing in particular that you wanted to take with you. So I was packing for them. I packed all the food that we were taking, and then we sort of said we'll assess things in the morning. Well, by the morning Mum was, well, she looked like she'd been trampled on by a herd of rhinoceros, but she was determined to go away. And I said, you can't drive, I will drive us, we'll go, we'll take it steady, and we get there when we get there, when we can. So instead of leaving early in the morning as planned, we left a little bit later because, to give Mum a chance to have a bit of a rest. We had to take the cats to the cattery, like the boarding cattery, pack the car up, all of that, all of the stuff that we were going to have done the day before but couldn't. We had to do all that in the morning. Other than like leaving later and all of that, things went perfectly fine. It was I did all the driving. It was a nice easy drive. We had stopped for coffee, but I had no sleep. The one thing that can make my anxiety flare more than anything else is when something happens to my mum. So my anxiety was through the roof. I didn't have any sleep at all. None of us really had much sleep, so I drove to Yorkshire on no sleep, and I was like, I'll be fine, I'll just need a couple of coffee stops. So I had like a double shot of iced coffee from the service station and stuff, and it was fine. We got there, everything was absolutely fine, but Mum was really feeling pretty bad by this point, and she said, I'm gonna pretty much go straight to bed once we get there. We'll unpack and then I'm gonna go to bed. and I said I was absolutely shattered from the drive, and I sort of said, can we just have tomorrow doing nothing? I know it's the first day of the holiday, but can we just do nothing? And that's what we did. We just decided to have the first day of the break as a do nothing day, and to just chill and try and recover a little bit. So that was the Sunday, and on the Sunday Mum got up eventually and she looked horrendous. Her arm was like out here, her eye was sealed shut. I've got a photo, but I'm not going to put it up because Mum hates the photo, and it's like, it's disrespectful to put it up when I know that she didn't really want anybody to see. But she looked horrendous. She'd got a graze here, her cheek was out here, and Mum sort of said, I'll go to hospital tomorrow. So I found a local hospital that did walk-in appointments. They were like a minor injury unit, but they did deal with breaks, like fractures. So we took her to Whitby Hospital on the Monday, and she had broken her wrist and potentially fractured her cheekbone, but they didn't have the facility to do facial x-rays, so they had a feel and said, we don't think it's broken, we think it's just very swollen, very bruised. So they couldn't cast her arm because it was so swollen. They said if they put a plaster cast on it, as it sort of went down, the swelling went down, it had just loosened too much. So we spent the first 2 days of our holiday recovering from the first, like from the journey and the day before, and then with Mum in hospital. She had like a big support thing on and it in a sling, and then they told her she'd have to go to our hospital as soon as she got back home. So it was kind of an eventful start to the holiday, but we did have an absolutely amazing time. We went to the beach, walked around on the beach, we went to the different markets. The people in Yorkshire are just so friendly and they make you feel so welcome. And we did, you know, we all fell in. I already knew I loved Yorkshire because I've been there before, and Mum has been there before, but my dad fell in love with it as well. He had sort of been a bit sceptical when we said we wanted to go for Yorkshire for 2 weeks, but he fell in love with it, and we are potentially going to get a caravan in Yorkshire. So it was a great experience for everybody, and I could actually see myself living there one day. I said to Mum and Dad, if it wasn't for you two and like how close I am to them, I would probably not have come home. That's how much I loved it there, and I've been really quite sad since I've come back, which it's annoying, and I know it's silly, but okay. So I've brought you in nice and close for the eyes, and I have decided to go with the Naughty Nudes palette. This is, oh, I've been dying to use these, so I'm so excited. So let's get some eyeshadow on, shall we? So since we came back, Mum had to obviously go to our local hospital to get checked out properly, and she went on Monday. She tried all day to get through to our fracture clinic, couldn't get hold of anybody, so I took her to Casualty on Monday evening, and she was there for 9.5 hours. Stupidly thinking it might be a bit quieter going of an evening, but no, 9.5 hours she was there. There was, like, when I dropped her off, there were 193 patients in casualty. So she was had her face x-rayed, because it had been, as the holiday went on, she was having a lot of problems with her face. So she was getting severe migraines, her vision was blurred, she couldn't feel around her mouth and inside her mouth. So they did some facial x-rays, and thankfully her cheekbone wasn't broken, it was just incredibly bruised inside. And we think, well, they think what's happened is that when she's hit the ground, her tooth has gone into her like upper lip, and that's why she's got like no sensation there at the moment. And her wrist was actually what they call a displacement fracture. So the wrist was well, it was like this across here has broken, and it's moving like separately from each other. So it's been put in a plaster cast, and she's been signed off work, and she's in, honestly my heart breaks. She's in so much pain. She's got severe arthritis already, but you can see she's in so much pain. She's getting these headaches all the time, so she's not having a good time of it at all, bless her. She's actually in bed now. It's 6:10 in the evening, and she's been in bed for a couple of hours. She got up but couldn't stand like the light and stuff, so she's had to go back to bed. So we're just sort of keeping an eye on her at the moment. So it's all been a bit dark and depressing really since we came back. My dad's got a really bad virus that he's had for weeks. It's not COVID. We've done several tests on him. It's just like a chesty cough and cold. So he's been struggling, and now because Mum is so low because of her accident, she's picked up this virus off my dad as well. So she's sort of really going through the mill at the moment, bless her. I think I'm getting a little bit of it, which I've noticed today. My voice is a bit croaky and I'm really dry, and I've been coughing a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as my mum and dad. And I've got quite a lot of aches and pains, but I've just been putting that down to normal chronic illness life. But I might have picked up a little bit of what they've got, but which is totally inevitable when you live in the same house and you're in such close quarters all day every day. But Ray's been really low since we come back as well. I don't know whether he's picking up on how I've been, picking up on my mood, or it's like the change in his routine. Obviously he's been in the moors and the dales for 2 weeks, going out most days to sort of now back to normality, and back with the cats, like having to share us with the cats. I think he's sort of feeling a bit of that sort of change in his routine. So I'm gonna take him out next week for a couple of days. Just stick him in the car and take him out, because he was going absolutely everywhere with us. You know, if we went out to eat, he came with us. He came to the markets with us. He wasn't left at all. So I'm going to take him out a couple of days next week, see if it helps us both, really helps lift both of our moods. So as usual, these Huda Beauty shadows are blending like a dream. So I've just finished my eyes. I love this palette. The only thing is, in future, I think I totally forgot to do it, but I think in future I'll probably use my NYX glitter primer, because the shimmers are quite, there's quite a bit of glitter fallout from them. And I think it'll just help them go on more smoothly and pop a little bit more. But I absolutely love this eye look. Super smoky. I think this will be like a gorgeous evening palette. So now all that's left to do is blush, highlight and lips, and I'm going to use one of the McGrath palettes. I think I'm going to just go for something quite light and simple, so I'm going to use the lighter of the two palettes, and I'm going to go in with the highlight first. Where's my highlight brush? So this, I did swatch this and it looks super sparkly, but not like chunky glitter, and it has like a lovely golden reflect to it. Gorgeous, really really gorgeous. Wow, look at that. Oh yes, that's a glow. That's a definite glow. Let's just put some in between my brows. Whew. Yes, thank you. And then blusher, I'm going to go for the shade Divine Rose, this one here, to go with like the pinky tones on the eyes. And I'm just blending it over my highlight. Gorgeous. And these have like a subtle radiance to them. Some more than others, I think. Oh yes, gorgeous. Love that. And then for lips, I'm going to go with my MAC Soar lip liner, my Chanel Daylight lipstick, and then I'm going to pop the McGrath gloss over the top. Okay guys, so that's me done. I've just run the tongs through my hair and put one of my new headbands in. Honestly, these are so comfortable. I had this Primark one in for like a couple of hours and it was killing me behind my ears, and this just feels like I've got nothing on my head. So I'm feeling a little bit more like me, a little bit more human now. I've got some slap on and I've done something with my hair. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry if it was a bit rambly and a bit sort of depressive. I hope it wasn't too bad. I really loved everything that I've used today. Really impressed with the foundation. Just gonna have to see how it wears. Love the eyeshadow palette, love the blush palette from McGrath. This gloss is stunning. The only thing I'm not very happy with is my eyebrows, just because they look so crazy. I've tried to sort of feather the front a little bit more, but I mean, I haven't plucked them for a few weeks. They've just sort of been left to go a bit wild, and I tinted them the other night as well, so they are quite crazy anyway at the moment. But yeah, so again, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It means the absolute world to me. Give me a like, leave me a comment, it really helps my channel. And yeah, I'm gonna go now and spend some time with my pup, who has been a little bit down in the dumps today and's got a little bit of a dicky tummy, so I'm gonna go and spend some time with him. Have an iced coffee and something to eat. So thanks for watching, guys. Love you all. Keep loving yourself, keep loving each other, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.